This video contains strong language which is not suitable for younger viewers.
Have you seen Naked Attraction? Cocks up, tits up, pick a winner. It's always the best looking, not once has a girl gone,
I'll have the pot-bellied lad with no taking a tiny dick. Best feature, I know guys like my boobs, so I guess that's maybe it.
I mean, how genuinely sad is this? I hate to get all Tumblr, but Jess has essentially gone, men like my tits, so the best thing about me must be my tits. She's genuinely one of the most beautiful people I've seen, and even from these small clips, she seems like she has a little bit going on up there.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be looking into society's perception of love as a direct consequence of our media. This is a topic which has interested me for quite some time, and so I am eager to get this video started. Just before I do though, I think it's important for me to mention that this video's sole purpose is to explore avenues of the dating scene and its progression in recent decades, following not only a change in the kinds of TV shows and medias we produce, but also the rise in technology, social medias, and dating apps. Has our media and our media consumption greatly impacted the way society acts when looking for love? And do media outlets portray love and also lust as well in a positive way? In terms of the media and our behavioural patterns when it comes to romance, did our media see a change in society's perception of love and create medias which reflect that? Or are the media companies responsible for creating the modern ideology in which society looks at love and romance? This is in some way a similar style of question to the famous "what came first, the chicken or the egg?" Who exactly here is responsible for this dramatic U-turn for finding love? It's a difficult question to answer. No matter what or who you believe took the first steps into changing our thoughts of love, there are no doubts that television shows like Love Island and Naked Attraction have had a great impact on our society. Particularly in this case, Love Island has had a strong impact. It's important to note that the definition and meaning of love differs from person to person. Everyone has their own little idea of how they should be treated in a relationship, what they want out of a relationship, and the kind of person they tend to be driven towards when looking for a potential partner. However, it's alarming to me that the majority of youngsters especially are becoming somewhat brainwashed and feel compelled to follow the new, modern rules of dating. Nowadays, there are strict regulations to follow if one wants to be considered perfect, and what's even worse is that the goalposts are always changing. What could be considered perfect and on trend one day could completely become irrelevant the following day. It is in many ways a struggle to keep up with society's strong demands as to what is considered perfect. The loss of traditional values we once held when it comes to love has changed because of many different reasons, one of which was the development of technology, and this is where I believe the change in heart began for romance seekers. Not only have we seen the rise of mobile phones, the internet and dating apps, which change the way that we look for love, this development in technology allows us to be on the search for a partner without even having to leave our own homes. Almost gone are the days where we would actively socialise face-to-face in order to meet potential partners and actually spend time getting to know them prior to rushing into any serious engagement and commitments like having children and marriage. Psychology Today showcased that one of the biggest ways that the modern dating scene differs from the traditional way is that there is a lack of patience. The article, which dates back to 2014, explains that we should all simply embrace the get-to-know-each-other stage of dating rather than rushing into living together, getting engaged, and other serious commitments. Be patient. Forming a strong relationship foundation takes time, the article reads. I must admit that there is a truth to this. In a previous relationship of over 4 years in length, I was still at that point in the relationship of finding new things out about my partner. The website called Motivational Stuffs published an article which displays how the dating scene has differed over recent decades, saying that, quote, "In earlier times, dating was different, where finding a date required more effort and energy than what it is today," end quote. When the article began to talk about modern love, the atmosphere changed. It said, quote, Today the love is scripted. Modern love is not so romantic, end quote. An interesting and rather unique way of looking at the modern romantic scene that the article pushes is that dating in the modern day comes equipped with an expiry date. It is said that it's much easier to move on to a new and fresh relationship rather than spending the time or effort to try to fix or strengthen the current one. So with that being said, many people simply give up and move on rather than spending some time trying to work things out. People's willingness to do that comes with a lack of ability to communicate, a lack of understanding that sometimes it pays to work on a relationship rather than to simply move on the second that things get tough. And our rushing to commit leads to more divorces and broken families than ever before. Just to mention, I'm not saying that modern relationships are all bad, but in my eyes they are more negative than positive. I enjoy personally just taking my time to get to know someone and enjoying their company and slowly progressing further and further up the relationship ladder, rather than jumping in at the deep end with possibly no life jacket on. There is a lack of concern with modern day love finding, in that the attitude many of us will carry is, oh well, if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't really matter, rather than taking the time to think about the true consequences of our actions within relationships. Let's begin with discussing the television show Naked Attraction. It is a modern dating show that has been airing on UK television sets since 2016 and is shown by Channel 4. It aired with much controversy, many arguing it encourages the idea that it only matters what you look like, not what you say, think or feel, and that severely damages the body image in the process. For those that don't know, contestants on Naked Attraction must strip down completely naked. Each contestant's bodies are revealed to the nation from the feet up, and one person is eliminated each round by the main contestant, who at the end chooses the person they wish to date based on whose body they like the look of the most. What makes the show particularly unique is its lack of censorship. It's full-on nudity with no secrets or hiding. I've seen the show a few times before, and it is honestly the weirdest but most interesting thing you'll ever find on television. It is just so unforgiving in every possible way. I will leave a link to the Naked Attraction YouTube channel, and yes, they do actually have a YouTube channel. I found it whilst I was doing research for this video, in the description box down below, along with all of the other sources that I used to create this video. If you're interested, go and check them out. Just be prepared for complete weirdness though, and also whilst we're here, don't just solely type in Naked Attraction into YouTube. Questionable things do come up. I learned that the hard way. But as previously mentioned, the show has always seemed to be at the core of controversy. Controversies that many media outlets have not shied away from talking about. One article by the NME claimed in 2016 that Channel 4 had received masses of complaints about the show because it apparently had showcased almost 300 penises in just a single episode. The programme airs at 10 PM post-watershed restrictions, but this did not stop numerous complaints rushing in from both infuriated and appalled viewers. The sheer amount of complaints triggered a study by Ofcom, the Office of Communications, which found that specifically 282 shots of penises were shown during a 40-minute long episode. The complaints prompted a spokesperson for Channel 4 to release a statement regarding the show that stated that, quote, "This is a light-hearted and appropriately scheduled series which aims to demystify the rules of sexual attraction for the Tinder generation," end quote. The statement did open up a new way of analysing the series for viewers, toning down some of the anger, and then turning that anger into intrigue. Although much of the feedback for the programme was unsupportive, some could see from a mile away what the show was attempting to do, apparently. The next big question for the show was, were they doing it justice? Many began to attempt to understand this so-called new way of looking at the blunt and shameless show, and many even began to praise its way of so-called body confidence and body acceptance, and also its unique way of looking at the modern generation. With no doubts, the series, which still currently airs to this day by the way, challenged the modern ideology of dating but at the same time proved to traditionalists that the dating scene had changed dramatically amongst the younger generations. Now let's move on to Love Island. This programme has with no doubt created the most buzz and controversy than our previous series. Love Island has an almost unbelievable hold on many of us, which has led to the show heavily impacting the modern dating scene. Within the show, several contestants are put into a large villa for a number of weeks. The main goal of the show is to stay coupled up with someone. Those who are not coupled up in a relationship with somebody in the villa are then sent home. At the end of it all, one couple are declared winners and are each given an envelope to open. One is always empty, but the other always contains a large sum of money. The contestant who randomly picked the envelope with the money inside then has a decision to make. They can either keep the money for themselves and cancel off their relationship, or share the prize money equally with their partner. I think the show tries to ask its viewers, what's more important, money or love? But really, all the viewers are mostly caring about is the drama and the entertainment side of the show. It seems that Love Island is increasingly gaining more and more clout as each season airs. Just some of the accusations the show has been targeted for since its first episode in 2015 include diversity issues, sexism issues, harming viewers' body confidence and mental health, and also creating a false sense of reality. Cosmopolitan wrote an article on the controversies back in 2018 after that year's season ended, which expressed just how harmful the show could be on particularly young teenagers' self-esteem and mental health. The article opened with, quote, "This year, more than ever it seemed, Love Island sparked conversation in magazines, newspapers and social media about the cast members, how they were portrayed and what messages it sent out to the millions of viewers the show had each night." End quote. We do appear to have some kind of love-hate relationship with the show, as many of us claim to despise it, yet still make sure to tune in every night to catch up on the latest news from the villa. Despite the concerns Cosmopolitan raised throughout the article about the show, it did admit that it had been a good season of the show, somewhat hypocritical in many ways. The amount of concern Love Island raised encouraged a survey to be taken by BBC 5 Live, which revealed just how much of an impact the show has on the perception of ourselves. The survey was carried out here in the United Kingdom and quizzed 2,000 British adults. To begin with, more than half of those who took part, between the ages of 18 and 34, felt unhappy with their own bodies. They claimed that media outlets had played a prominent role in the way that they felt about themselves. 35% specifically mentioned that shows like Love Island were to blame for those feelings. More women and men than ever are willing to dramatically change their bodies through plastic surgery because of poor self-esteem. An interesting piece of information from the Love Island producers was that they claimed to never ever pick contestants for the show based purely on their looks and body shape. They claimed that, quote, "The physical appearance of a Love Island contestant is not the main criteria in the selection process," end quote. This is personally a statement I don't think is true at all. If they do not only want a certain type of look for the show, then why is it that there's only ever a certain type of look on the show? In my personal opinion, Love Island has a long way to go before even slightly becoming the diverse show that it seems to be currently claiming that it is. Now, why am I discussing this? Because I think the fact that so many of us are outraged by the content of both Naked Attraction and Love Island shows that somewhere deep down we do have an understanding that what is being shown may not be completely appropriate in terms of diversity and equality. But then, if we disagree with it so much, why do we continue to watch them? Both shows I have discussed have received many complaints throughout their run, but both of these shows are currently, at the time of making this video, still being aired every year, which shows to us that they are still very popular. It's as if we're on the fence about these kinds of shows, perhaps completely unsure exactly of how we feel about them. When we have a lack of self-confidence and poor mental health, things change in our dating behaviours and relationships. In relationships and looking for love, we take what we think we deserve, and if we're struggling with confidence and self-esteem, we become vulnerable and often will make poor choices. This is one of the reasons that having these kinds of shows air on TV could be more damaging than entertaining. When we are in that kind of situation, we tend to put up with poisonous acts from people and will keep going back to those who treat us poorly. Both Love Island and Naked Attraction have played a part in shaping and shaking up the dating scene, to no surprise from many of society. But there are no doubts that they have raised many questions. Are these shows there only for our entertainment, or do they have some form of ulterior motive? What is the actual purpose of these programs? Is it to showcase that this is the way we should all be in finding love? Or do they aim to poke fun at the younger generation's way of life? Or perhaps am I simply looking too far into all of this? And us as consumers should be more aware that they're only television programs and should in no way be taken seriously. It begs the question, does everything nowadays have to have some kind of serious plan or meaning behind it? Can nothing just be fun and entertaining in a non-serious way anymore? All of these questions are really worth thinking about when it comes to shows like Love Island and Naked Attraction. Regardless of the show's true intentions, it is apparent that when looking at it in terms of encouraging modern love, it does a great job. If the purposes of these shows was to raise awareness about the dangers of online dating and falling in love only for someone's looks, then I believe the shows could have done a much better job in doing that. Unfortunately, I don't think that we'll ever really know the true intentions of the modern dating shows, but what we do know is that the impact it has had on particularly young teenagers has been prevalent. Upon researching a little deeper into the impact of our media, I stumbled across an essay about why we choose to watch certain things on our television screens. The piece is well worth a read if you're interested, and it covers several unique thoughts on how we watch media. We obviously watch what we're interested in, and will not give the time of day to something that we don't care about. This leads to the assumption by researchers of the media and society that we are what we watch and we watch what we are. This is now quite a common concept when we begin to analyse our connection with the media. We all fit into categories based on our age, gender, social economic status and background, meaning that it is easier than ever for products to identify their target audience. We as human beings have the capability of being flexible and will usually quite easily adjust to new advances in technology as they come out, and to an extent we are reliant on it. But this ability to adapt comes with both negatives and positives. One negative is that often when we become accustomed to a new and so-called improved way of modern life, older information and behavioural patterns get pushed to the side and will eventually disappear out of our minds completely when we believe that we no longer need it. This can be relatable with the media. When we are exposed to a certain kind of show for too long, we adapt to it accordingly, especially when it comes to the genre of reality television. We think that that's actually real life, when in all honesty it couldn't be further away from real life if it tried. Not to mention we have an overwhelming desire to fit in with what's trendy or cool at any given time, meaning that we absorb reality television and not only adjust to it but take it seriously, leading to an unrealistic demand on society in terms of body images, the way we're expected to behave, and more. It is now coming to the end of this video, and I would just like to take a moment to thank those of you who've made it this far. I realise I've missed out on lots of different information that I could have included in this video, but to be honest I didn't want this video to be too long in length. What are your thoughts on the link between the media and society when it comes to love and relationships? Let me know in the comments section down below. Have you ever seen a show on television and felt bad about yourself because of it? Let me know. All of the sources I used to create this video will be linked in the description box down below for those interested. I do very much hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up, and if you are new here, please make sure to click on that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.